Hey guys, it's Holly. So today we'll be having a look at one of the other LEGO Harry Potter regional exclusive sets, which is the Hogwarts Flying Lesson, which is set 76395 and retails for $30 and 50 Australian, which I think is quite absurd considering this has 261 pieces. Now, for Europe and Australia and a few other countries, this set did release on June 1st, but unfortunately for my North Americans, this one will be coming out on August 1st. So if you're super desperate to get it, unfortunately you will have to kind of import it into the US. Otherwise, just be patient and wait. Now this set is the final of the 20th anniversary set, which is why it comes with a golden figure and 2 chocolate frog cards, but let's start off by having a look at the minifigures. First up, we have Madame Hooch, which is the first time she's appeared in a set since 2010, besides the Bricktober pack in 2018, but this one is so different compared to the old one. She's got blue robes around this time, she's got kind of the Ross from Friends spiky hairpiece here, and a brand new face, I'm pretty sure, as well. And I really like the design of this figure. I think her robes look a lot more accurate than it was last time in the black. And then to kind of give her an accessory, she's got a tan wand and a brown broomstick. Just like the remaining of the Madame Hooches, she does have goggles on one side, and then if you turn her face around, she's got her little beady kind of mean looking eyes. Although unlike the 2010 one, and I'm pretty sure also the 2018 one off the top of my head, she actually has black eyes this time instead of her kind of trademark yellow eyes that she has in the film. Underneath her cloak, which is a starchy black one instead of the soft fabric, she does have a tiny bit of back printing, but it is kind of just black there to kind of look like her robes instead, rather than continuing on this little blue pattern from the front. Next up is Neville Longbottom with his little Rememberall, which hasn't appeared as a piece since 2001. It has been 20 years since we've gotten that piece, and I do really like the new design. One of my favorite things about it is that you've got the red smoke on one side, but if you actually turn it around, you've got the grey smoke, which means he hasn't forgotten something. Although I do wish that that gold band kind of went round the middle, just like he did on the original, but I am glad to see that they did use a minifigure head, this kind of the same as they did before. Neville also does come along with a dark brown broomstick, and then he's got that recolored kind of regular Gryffindor closed robe piece that we've seen in quite a few of the other sets. And just like his version from the Hogwarts Moments books, he's got that short hair as well as his kind of fainting expression, which I don't really think suits this scene all too well because I don't think he ever really passed out in this scene, but I didn't really expect them to do anything else. Next up, we have Draco Malfoy, which funnily enough is exactly the same as the one in Diagon Alley. Yeah, you remember that really expensive D2C set? Yeah, you can get that figure in this $30 set, which is great. Then again, I'm not really complaining. These robes have appeared in cheap sets anyway with the Polyjuice Potion bathroom, and I do like those pieces, and I completely get why he's here. And Draco has a black broomstick, and interestingly enough, he doesn't actually come with a black wand this time. He has a reddish-brown wand, which, I mean, for kind of consistency's sake, I'm not a huge fan of, but never mind, I have tons of spare ones lying around. And Draco's got his regular kind of young Draco face here, nothing too spectacular. Although, yeah, it annoys me that he's got reddish brown eyebrows here and black eyebrows on older Draco's face, but I guess that's something I just need to kind of get over. And our last figure of this set is the 20th anniversary figure, which in this case is Professor Quirrell. Now, he's one that I feel like a lot of people have kind of been confused over because we haven't gotten Dumbledore or Hagrid or McGonagall, and arguably those are much bigger characters, but Quirrell, you know, it makes sense. Like, this wave is celebrating 20 years since the first wave of Harry Potter sets, and even just 20 years of the movie in general, and considering Quirrell is really the main villain, spoiler alert, just for anyone, I mean, I feel like you should have watched the films by now if you're watching this video, but yeah, Quirrell's the main villain, but also, he was the first ever minifigure to actually have a double-sided head, so it's pretty cool that he's here, and just like the rest of the 20th anniversary sets, he's got the little gold sparkles here, the plain gold minifigure base, a gold wand, 20 years on the back, but honestly, the best part about this figure is that he has that double-sided golden Voldemort face, which looks spectacular. The amount of detail that they put onto that minifigure head, it looks fantastic, but also just the turban in gold as well, I think looks really slick. Also for the anniversary in this set, you get 2 of the brand new chocolate frog card prints, which luckily come in the same bag. And luckily for me, I get 2 brand new cards, which I haven't gotten before, which I'm very, very happy about considering the amount of duplicates. So in total, after all of my sets that I bought, I ended up with 11 out of the 16, which honestly isn't too bad, but considering how many kind of more than 16 you end up with, still kind of annoying, but I'm glad to have 2 new tiles here, with this one being Gilderoy Lockhart and this one being Fantastic Beast Lady. I can never pronounce her name nor remember it, so she's here, you know, the American one. So here's the build itself, and to me this set's very interesting because I feel like it's half a 2021 set and half a 2018 and onwards set, but it's also just a giant wall, just like, you know, majority of this wave's theme. But it's got a lot of moments that you do remember from this scene. In particular, my favorite addition is this little grey statue at the top, which I remember firstly from just the flying lesson scene, but also where Oliver Wood is practicing and teaching Harry about Quidditch. Like, he shoots the bludger right through those crossed swords, which I think is pretty cool. I love these trans silver rods kind of sticking out, so you can have a bunch of people just flying around and posing. I really like that, and the fact that you can move them up and down, but also it matches the one that's on the Chamber of Secrets, which I think is pretty sick. Now, there are 3 sections to this build. You have these 2 towers on the sides, which you build first. Then you've got this little middle section, which just feels really out of place to me, and you'll kind of see what I mean by it's a half a 2018 set, because this doesn't have any modular capabilities. I mean, technically you could probably stick it at the top of something, but it's a different width, it's a different depth, as you can see. It doesn't really match up with the same dimensions as the modular pieces, whereas these 2 here are very much kind of modular pieces. You've got these detachable rooftops, it's all built the same deal with the archway type of things, as well as the Technic pieces. Like, this very much fits into that new 2021 system, whereas this middle piece doesn't necessarily do the same thing. Now, these 2 side pieces are both built exactly the same. There's nothing really different about them besides what's on the top and kind of what's on the inside, as well as these stickered banners out the front, which is lovely that you get one for each house, being Gryffindor, Slytherin, Ravenclaw, and Hufflepuff, and you can mix them around and things like that if you want, and they were very easy to apply stickers. I really don't mind these pieces being stickers. On the inside, you can see that there are 2 very tiny and honestly kind of pathetic builds. I really love this Quidditch trophy case. It's really glad to see it make a reappearance, as I loved kind of that James Potter shield from the 2010 Hogwarts, and it's great to see one which is a bit more accurate over here with a much smaller James Potter plaque, as well as 2 other ones here. You also have this trophy on the other side, which doesn't really sit there, it just kind of floats around in these pieces. At the top, you have a quaffle inside of this little glass jar, as well as half a paddle, which I guess is supposed to be some sort of trophy, one of those micro figures, as well as a silver cup, once again meant to be another trophy. It's a very basic build, it works, but it's really, really simple, which is kind of upsetting considering the $50 Australian price tag, in my opinion. At the top as well, this little flying thing is on the right hand side, which you can swap it over if you want, as there's a clip on both. And then on this other piece, it's on the left, but once again, there's a clip on both. You can swap it around. At the top, the only real difference is this statue, which I do like the build of. Very simple, just a grey slope priest, grey torso with some dark bluish grey hands. You have that grey Gandalf, the grey beard, which is kind of nice to see actually return in that colouring, as well as a grey minifigure head and these metallic silver swords, which you're kind of supposed to pose like that, so that if Harry shot the bludger through, it would go straight through. Speaking of bludgers, at the bottom you have kind of the box of Quidditch balls and this random bucket, which I guess you can just kind of stack all of the broomsticks in like so if you really wanted to. But this little kind of Quidditch bucket thing is really disappointing to me. Firstly, I just don't think it looks like it at all. The Quidditch bucket is really just, it's a trunk. They should have used the chest pieces, in my opinion, that they've used for the last, 20 years or so. In the Quidditch match, they had the chest. In the 2010 Quidditch match, you had a chest again. But here you've got a crate with a black minifigure stand as the roof, and Unfortunately, all of these kind of Quidditch balls look really disappointing to me. I'm glad that we've got the return of the Technic ball as the Quaffle. I thought that was so much better than that minifigure head that they tried to do in 2018. You also have the return of the Golden Snitch, which once again is a magnificent piece. I love the mold of that. But unfortunately, the bludgers are just two studs stuck on top of each other, and it just feels kind of pathetic in my opinion. Scale-wise, I don't think it really works all that well. I mean, I guess that it's slightly smaller in diameter than the Quaffle, but it feels really lazy. And then again, you've got this kind of brick built bat using a telescope and one of these kind of coney dome pieces. I personally prefer the carrot pieces in dark brown. I think they look a bit better and not as kind of clunky as this. Just these two together just feel really lazy, I want to say. I just don't think it really suits it. And then on top of that, you just got this black bucket, and that's supposed to be your chest. To me, it's underwhelming, especially considering that's the entire interior of this other section. So that's the entirety of the flying lesson, and kind of just like the chess set, I've got really mixed feelings on this. I really feel like this is a really good set. If you've kind of got the rest of the 2021 castles, you can tack it on really easily. Even if you've got 2018 castles, this will fit in really nicely. It's got that same style to it, even though it does have modular pieces. It will very, very easily fit. I feel like this would work really nicely with the Whomping Willow especially. Like, it really suits that type of set. It's also the only set with a door out of the 2021 waves, which I really like. I think it is well needed. But if you are getting those 2021 sets, even though it does have these modular pieces, I feel like it just won't kind of fit properly, if that makes any sense, considering it is quite a lot shorter. I mean, that is something that I do personally want to try out and kind of combine it with all of them and see how it works. I feel like you're really going to have to make a Hogwarts display that's quite wide in order for this to work, which I mean isn't a bad thing, but it kind of is if you're kind of limited on space. Out of 10, I feel like I'd have to give this set a 7.5 because it is pretty good, but there is also a lot of things that I feel like could have been done better, especially for the price that this costs. But let me know what you think of this set. For those in North America, I definitely don't think that this is worth kind of importing to get early unless you are extremely desperate. I just don't think it would be worth the additional cost. But for everyone else, I feel like this is definitely a set you should pick up, except Australians don't pay full price like I did. Be patient, be smart. But if you guys did enjoy this video though, please give me a big thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel down below. And until next time, as always, I'll see you later.